All right, we are here officially. Apologies for the slight delay. We had some NFL to talk about before this. Busy times here at Stokastic because we got you covered for every sport, including PGA. It is the swing season, but the Shriners Children's Open is upon us. We're going to talk about a course we're familiar with, a lot of players from swing season events of weeks past. We'll recap Sanders and Farms, and we'll also have some fun. That's what we're here to do. I'm Ben Raza, of course, joined by the Minnesota Twin himself, Eric Lindquist. Big game today. Feeling confident, feeling good. How are you feeling?
Confident is not the right word.
No.
I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. We've got a much better pitching matchup here today. Jose Urquidy, Christian Javier, for whatever reason, just turned into God again yesterday, and that was painful and suffering. You had a top 5% outcome for him, a bottom 5% outcome for Sonny Gray, who's been nails at home. Kind of a weird start time. Shadows played some
Shadows.
tricks on some guys. Yes, so nice to get the game pushed back. So it's not starting till 6 o'clock local time. Won't have to deal with any of the BS. They should be able to get after Urquidy, I would think, but cautiously optimistic. Just a little half unit. Just a little half unit on my Twins.
Yeah, we'll have some fun with that. And let's get into this because, like I said, we're going to go through what you need to know here for Shriners, give you that first look, give you those picks. And I see all the ride or dies in here. If you're joining us, maybe you're not watching live, hit that like button, subscribe to this very channel. We want you covered, even in swing season. We want you as part of this community. But let's look back before we look forward. Sanderson Farms, a big playoff. Luke List wins. A lot of our guys were up there. Of course, I predicted the South African in the top 5. What does that mean? It means Bez comes in 6. That's about how it goes around here. I don't have a ton to say. To me, it really mirrored a typical swing season event.
How about Ludwig just getting off a plane, showing up, putting it together on the weekend? I think that just speaks to the kind of quality of player that we're talking about with him. It doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter how. The guy won the European Masters. He puts up a top 10 at the BMW PGA. He plays not well. I would say he did not play as well as Victor Hovland, which is obviously not the chasm. There's a chasm there between Hovland and most people on the PGA Tour, but really impressive to see him go out. I think amongst these fields, this is just a guy that he's going to put himself into the realm just about every single time. The consistency he's had over the course of the last month and a half, 2 months cannot be overlooked.
Yeah, he's very impressive. You mentioned battle back, just typical dominant tee to green, 12 strokes gained tee to green. And we saw it, and we saw a lot of names up there. I don't think we need to. I do think in general, game theory wise, people will overrate, oh, this guy played good last week, I target him here. Oh, this guy missed the cut, I won't. And that, of course, doesn't tell the story. We're going to get into our tiers and see who we're kind of getting into. But I want to ask you, because always, whether we're in Jackson last week and now TPC Summerlin, a totally different part of the country, this is a course that we've seen a lot. It hosts this tournament. It's a staple of the PGA Tour season. When you see TPC Summerlin, what do you think of when we're kind of sketching out a golfer?
We're sketching out guys who play well in birdie fests. Yet again, there are lots of birdie opportunities out here. It's just one par 5 that you have on the front there. You get 2 of them on the back. So it's not necessarily just par 5 scoring, but there are just so many birdies that are available to you. 17, you just kind of get by it. It's a par 3 that has some water lingering, a couple of difficult tee shots, and that's always playing one of the more difficult golf holes on the course, and then leads into 18, which I think is a great finishing hole. I go back to like the Matt Wolff playoff, always an enjoyable experience there to be sweating out that ticket and have it go disaster for me. Can't remember who he was playing against. It was Martin Laird, I think. But
sounds about right.
It was an interesting run out there for that one. But I love what you said about that last piece that you said, where people who played poorly last week get downgraded, people who played well get upgraded. I think that there's so much game theory and leverage to be played when you're talking about, different golf course, different setup, different part of the country, and more birdies available last week than, I thought it was going to be a birdie fest to a certain extent. It was really a birdie fest. And now I think you're just kind of running into more of the same. So I think you're looking at a similar skill set of golfer.
I would agree. I think a lot of what you take from last week, you can carry over. It doesn't mean everyone's going to play the same, but target golf, aggressive. Of course, you need to roll it. You can't win in these type of events if you can't putt. And that doesn't mean that it has to be a great putter because Luke List was holding the trophy. He gained 6 strokes putting, though. He exploded with the putter, and we hadn't seen him gain 6 strokes putting ever, basically. Yeah, since 2016. So that's good. 7 years in the making. Sometimes it takes that type of effort, but I'm keeping it very, very simple. Good ball striking, guys that are easy course specialists don't hurt. I would like for them to have gotten a rep at Fortinet or Sanderson Farms. I don't think it's a requirement, but I'd like that just so I have some data points to work with. And then I will take a peek at what they've done in this course in the past. Doesn't need to be great, but I do like that my guy typically has seen Shriners and this layout and this course. But I'm pretty much set with that. I'm not doing anything with weather just yet. It looks fine. It doesn't typically turn out to be a big split type week. Any final thoughts before we start unveiling our tiers?
Yeah, maybe with showdown contests. I know DraftKings has now a Rainmakers for round 2, round 4, kind of a fun game theory deal, picking up cards, picking up packs there. I will be paying attention to wind. That's something that can pop up, but as you said, not going to be a huge weather splits week.
No doubt about it. All right, here we go. We're going to dive into the top tier, and then I'm going to tell you after that, we got some fun things around the industry that I want to make sure we get to on this show. But the way we're going to do this, just like last week, it's backed by popular demand. We're each going to give you our top 3 in each range. We can throw in a fade at the end if you want. And the top tier, we're saying above 9K. So this is any golfers above 9K. We're going to rank them. Do you want the honors, or would you like me to show you the way?
Show me the way, as always. It worked out well last week. We both had, I think I had a pretty decent week last week, nothing crazy, but 2x my money. I'm pretty happy with that overall.
I didn't have a ton of DFS volume. I was more focused in the betting streets, but overall it was fine. My lineups actually, if Gim could have got through, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get it started. My first golfer is Cam Davis. I bet him. He's sitting 25-1 out there. You can get it. Great at Birdie Fest, likes these type of conditions. Bentgrass is good. We saw him at Fortinet. He came in 3rd. He was ungodly with the short game there. That's a complete outlier for what he normally does. But this is a guy who has won, and he won at Rocket Mortgage. Mm-hmm. This type of event, I think that he's excelled during swing season in the past. He's played Shriners 4 times, made the cut in all 4. Cam Davis kicks it off for me as my favorite top tier pay up option this week.
All right. I'm just hardcore chalk. Again, last week had next to none of this individual, and maybe this feels chasey. Maybe it is what it is, but he's been the class of a lot of fields that I didn't expect him to be. Ludwig Aberg, this guy just might be a dude. I don't know if it's going to, I mean, he might be a dude. And I think that we could look back on this relative to other fields that we have for next year, and we are paying 10K at the Players Championship for Ludwig. I think that that's something that's legitimately in play based on this profile. He never misses left. He swings. He does not miss the golf ball left. 12.1 strokes gained, tee to green at the Sanderson, put himself in that playoff. He had a flat putting week, lost 0.4 with the flat stick. And generally, I think he's a decent putter who has spike potential there. If he had putted relatively well, he would have lapped the field, which is insane to think about because it was going pretty deep as is. So I'm riding the ball striking. I mean, 7.7 at the RBC Canadian, 7.7 at the John Deere, 4.5 at the Travelers. He lost 5.7 at 3M, but the big difference there is there's water lurking on a lot of those holes, and you can have it go really, really south on you quick. Lost 7.5 with the stroke gain approach. So I am fully on board with eating some chalk there. If I'm building out a single entry lineup, it's probably going to have Ludwig.
Yeah, it's hard to push back on the talent. And there's plenty of value in this field. My second man up, I don't need to spend a lot of time here. It's self-explanatory. It's Griot. That's what I do. He was not good last week. Got it. Again, it's 2 rounds. I don't worry about that. I'm more concerned about, does his style fit Shriners? And I think that it does. He's been better with the putter lately. He has gained 3 straight years in putting at this event. So he seems to like these greens. He's always a good ball striker. He needs to fix his irons right now. It wasn't good at the end of the year. Griot in the mid-9s in this field, sign me up. I think that he's more than capable of putting forward a good performance, can be your second man in or a very balanced first man in.
Yep. I have him 3rd on my list. So
let's go.
So when I was filling out my list, I literally just blacked out your portion of it so that I didn't look at it. I did see Griot actually lingering there second,
Well,
but for
you
me,
know that.
this has
Yeah.
more. Yeah, again, because it was just sitting at the top as you're like scrolling it up. But for me, this is more of like an ownership type deal where I think you're going to look at reduced ownership. We have him at 9%, and you look at Nikolai Højgaard, you look at Siwoo Kim, you look at below him. Adam Hadwin and Adam Schenk is a name that I've seen absolutely everywhere this week on the old golf Twitters. I would much rather take shots in a birdie fest on Emiliano Grillo coming off of last week. I think that he just comes in with lower ownership than everybody else there. And the insane part to me is that I don't know what we're going to get a year from now, but right now, the putter has been good over the last 3-4 months. And I feel like with Grillo, if you give me a flat putter almost any time, I'm going to take shots on him in birdie fests in weak fields. Like it's as simple as that. So I'm totally behind it. He actually goes third on my list because from a game theory perspective, again, somebody who made the cut, didn't completely torch you, put up a T25, but relative to other guys in his price range, he ended up finishing the worst. Eric Cole, I'm going back to the well at 9,800 for him. He's been one of my dudes. And again, in DK scoring, he is first amongst his field over his last 25, 50, and 100 round sample sizes. He's been really good from a DFS perspective. And a lot of that is that he brings that solid approach with a putter that spikes like crazy at times. Now, it's lost in the last two. That freaks me out a little bit because, again, you got to be making putts. You got to be rolling the rock. But yet another spot where off the tee, I think you can kind of get away from it. Or you can get it's always good to bomb it. It's always good to be positive off the tee like a Ludwig Aberg's going to be every single week. But Eric Cole finds so many ways to do it around the green game. Elite approach, elite putter spikes. Let's go.
Guys just playing very, very good golf. I get it. So you've got Cole and you've got Grillo. My last guy, you mentioned him already. I want to preface this by saying you really need to be conscious of ownership. It is Adam Schenk. I think that price is right. This is a player that is proven. He is right there. You know, multiple top fives on tour now, a pair of runner-ups in 2023. We have not seen him as much, and that is a mystery. The form could regress, and I definitely don't want to pair him up with other chalky options. That's why the tools are so important here. But if you're going to tell me that I can get best available in the low nines, I do think that Schenk has a very good chance to perform well here. And even with that ownership, there are ways to leave money on the table or be different that I want some healthy exposure. So there we have it. We've got our top three. If you want to give a one-word answer, for me, if I was going to throw out a fade, I think it would probably be Højgaard just because I don't know what to expect price-wise. He's a super talented guy. I never know where he falls. So for me, he probably gets squeezed.
Yeah, he probably gets squeezed. For me, Adam Schenk gets squeezed. It's a lot of momentum. I'm hearing a lot about him. I think relative to these other guys, I mean, he got left off of the Ryder Cup team. He was kind of the snub, if you will, finished top 10 at the Tour Championship, which again, relative to everybody else in this field, there's nobody else that got remotely close to that. You had Tom Kim there at 20th. Otherwise, nobody else really in the running there at the Tour Championship. So, I mean, it's just a spot where, yeah, the quality of golfer and the quality of golf he's been playing for the last 6 months, really, it probably surpasses a lot of this range. And then he's sitting at the bottoms of the nines. So kind of a discount on him. That makes me a little bit worried he gets steamed up. And it's a golf course that I think brings a lot of skill sets into play, not necessarily demanding to be a good golfer.
Yeah, very, very true. I think that's what we get during the swing season with these layouts. Let's move to the mid-range. We're going to do the 8K range next, but I want to mention, you see it on the screen. You've heard it on this channel, or maybe you haven't, even better. Owner's Box. Owner's Box, if you do not play over there, and you're saying, you know what? I've been hearing about these tools. I've always wanted to try your stuff, but I haven't been able to do it. How about I'll just give you a free week of NFL Sims Max, our package, right there. How about a $500 bonus match on your first deposit at Owner's Box? It's right there. Link in the description. What is Owner's Box? Another platform to play. Obviously, with NFL dominating right now, the NBA is coming. Cool format over there. We have tools that support it. So not only are you getting overlay, not only are you getting an unsolved format because they have super flex for NFL, meaning you can play 2 quarterbacks in every lineup. We have projections. We have Sims for Owner's Box. And you're going to get those tools for free for the week just for signing up and depositing. It's a great, great opportunity. You get to see what we've got, not just for Owner's Box, by the way. You also get DraftKings and FanDuel, but you also get an Owner's Box. Can't say it enough. We've all been playing over there. We've seen the screenshots. We've seen the success. Just add it to the arsenal. Doesn't mean move all your volume over there, but it's a nice little addition and one I'm really, really excited to keep building. I want to see what they do for NBA. It's actually pretty damn exciting with ball just ahead of us. But we got to talk about the AK range. I'm going to get it started again. I'm going to show you the way because Alex Smalley is just good at golf. I can kind of confirm that at this point. He's $8,500. He was 16th at Sanderson Farms. He gained across the board. Guy's just solid stuff. I love him. At top 20 is plus 210. Sign me up. I think over 2-1 on that. I'm just a big fan of his game. I think he keeps it rolling here. So I'll get things started. We're picking our favorite 8K players with Alex Smalley.
Yeah, Alex Smalley's fine. He'd be near my top 3 here. But this is also kind of a play your dude spot. And one of my dudes, Adam Svensson, 2.9 off the tee. I mean, he's going to be positive off the tee more times than not, but a 7th at the Wyndham, 15th at the BMW, didn't play himself somehow into the Tour Championship. And then the Sanderson Farms, first time that we've gotten a glimpse at him in the fall season. Nice to see the putter be really solid. 4 strokes that he gained there, now gained massively in 3 of 4. Did lose quite a few at the FedEx St. Jude, but I think in birdie fests like this could be a really nice spot to go take advantage of him. He had a really nice fall season last year, won the RSM Classic, so he's spiked at this point in time a couple of times in the past. 6th at the Barbasol, another weak field event in 2022, 9th at the Honda. That's a completely different golf course, but he's definitely shown a propensity to gain with the putter here. It can go south as well, but I think from a boom bust option at his current ownership, I'm pretty okay with eating that chalk at 17.7%. Considering Putnam at 8,300, that is your auto fade for me in this range if he's going to be higher owned between the two. You want me to jump to what was that?
No, I agree. I was gonna say he's getting a lot of steam right now.
I don't quite understand it.
Snake it.
Yeah, so I was going to snake draft it here quick for one, because I wanted to just steal him before you brought him up, was Beau Hossler. We both have him at number 2 here in this range. Nothing we saw last week is going to really scare us off here at 8,100, completely different price. We are looking at him with losing with the putter. What? Lost with the approach. What? Still finished top 30. Flip the 2 things that he's generally going to, I mean, the irons had to flip at some point in time. It's going to get better from here on out, but we know what you're getting. You're getting strong off the tee. You're getting strong around the green. Now, the other 2 things need to come along for the ride in a birdie fest, but these are the kind of times that you want to be playing him. And now low 8s for him. Low 8s is very different for me than what you were looking at last week, where as I kind of started building out my single interest, I was like, do I really want to be like paying a premium for Beau Hossler here in this spot? I ended up not playing him in my main lineup, but 9,200 for him down to 8,100. That is a huge steep dip there. And now he's at 10.7. Other guys in the range that people want to click on more because of last week. Bez goes from 0 to hero. Mark Hubbard as well. I think this is just a buy low now for Beau Hossler.
Yeah, I really agree. I bet him last week. I might add him to the card once again and just stick with it because he was closer than I think the scores indicate. Now, if Bez wins this week, I had on a whim, you can see it on my Twitter at JazzRazDFS. I took Bez to win with Jacoby Myers' first touchdown in the Raiders game, which already happened. So if Bez somehow wins this tournament, I'll be quite happy. And he is my 3rd pick in the mid-range. I love Bezuidenhout. He was 6th last week, gained 5 strokes putting, and that seems crazy. That's what he does. His irons finally flipped. I think I'm out of 1 times, even though I think I should get one back because of Josh McDaniels, but that's another show for another time. I like Bez a lot. I think that he's playing really quality golf, and these courses that aren't demanding off the tee, I think allow a guy like that to maybe thrive. So to get my 3rd pick out of the way, because we both have Hossler, I'm going to go to Bez as my 3rd and final guy in the 8K range.
All right. Well, that's your guy. And my guy is Aaron Rye, Whiskey Rye, baby. It's going to be interesting to see his first glimpse that we've had in the fall season. I'm not sure what to expect, but something tells me, again, we have him at 10.7%. He's once again boxed in between Vincent Norman and Tom Hoagie, who's pulling all of the ownership in all the land, which is pretty wild to me. I get it. Somebody's played well on some weaker golf courses or weaker fields, had a really good showing at the Sanderson, top 15 there as well. So there's maybe a little bit more comfort clicking on it. But you go back to the summer, 3rd at the RBC, 24th at the Travelers, hopefully just revamp some stuff here, started to get the around the green putter back. And he can be that iron player who gains you 6, 7, 8 shots. And that's kind of what I'm looking for at low ownership is what is your upside relative to the range? And his upside is actually going out and winning this golf tournament. Haven't bet him yet, probably going to. We'll see kind of where I end up landing on it, mainly because I do like some of the flyers that we get to in the 7K range as bets. I think that there's a couple of those that stand out this week rather than trying to take a shorter number on Aaron Rai, but 8,800 feels like a little bit of an overpay based on his previous last couple. Those are my favorite kind of guys to get to here in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, one of the beautiful things when you get to these ranges is that when you're talking about some of your pivots, they have win equity. It's not like, oh, this is a guy that I think could be pretty good. Like, no, he could win the tournament. Aaron Rai is a player. There's no doubt about it. Bez, to me, I know it seems impossible. He can play. To get it out of the way, you already said it, but are we in agreement that it doesn't mean that I hate the play, but Andrew Putnam,
wild to me.
Yeah, a lot of steam right now. And if that's the case, I mean, we know that he can roll it. He was terrible at Fortinet, and it was just due to the putter. I expect that to correct. He's towards the bottom of this range. I would rather have Svensson, Hostler, Smalley, Bez, almost everyone around him.
Nobody's going to play Luke List after a win. That seems weird to me too. 6%. That seems wrong. That's going to be higher. I bet it takes a little bit of the shine off of Putnam, but like Putnam pulling this ownership is just insane to me. So auto fade at 21.
No doubt about it. Let's continue with the mid range though. We're going to go to the 7K range. A lot of options there. A lot of options. Doug Ghim, I can't quit. Now he lost strokes putting last week, which is not a surprise. He lost 3.5 though. That is a surprise. That's a lot in 2 rounds. Everything else was perfect. Off the tee, positive. Ball striking, positive. Around the green, positive. And before that, he had made 3 straight cuts. This is where I'm saying, you know, if he gets in on the number and he grinds to 17th, Doug Ghim is like mega chalk, I bet. But he didn't. And I'm not gonna, you know, penalize him that much for not finding that weekend. I will stick with Doug Ghim. You're getting a minor bump in a good way with the price. 7,800 is more than reasonable. I'm kicking this range off with Doug Ghim as my favorite play.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. That's a good way to sum that up.
Yeah. I mean, he's been the best in DK scoring outside of one guy in this range. You know who that is?
I don't.
Akshay Bhatia, baby. Actually, he's second to Austin Eckroat, who's actually my number 2. This is just, again, a scoring fest. We're looking at Akshay Bhatia, who from time to time, just out of the middle of nowhere, lost his putter. He lost his ability to putt. And then over the weekend, it got even worse. But Akshay Bhatia is one of those guys who's going to just murder and smash the golf ball and get himself into some of these wedge fests. I like this golf course for him a little bit more, where there isn't like the tricky slopes and you're not running into greens that can get a little bit tricky on you, because that can be the case from last week. Some guys like to putt on those surfaces where it's a little bit more slick. This, well, I mean, it's not going to be slow by any means. I think you're still going to run into a spot where putting, if you can be flat for a guy like Bhatia, if you can just have the decent around the green game, which he's actually shown, and then, I mean, I'm basically just saying, hey, play well, Bhatia. He's just got so much talent, and I think I just want to be backing that talent from here until the sun goes. It's just such an easy range for me to say, you know what? There are opportunities for him to finish 10th or 15th, but still put up a ton of birdies. 14th in DK scoring amongst the entire field. That's pretty wild.
I know, again, it's not the most glamorous thing, but I truly believe in swing season, betting on blind talent is a great, great strategy. You're going to catch some miscuts. You're going to catch some guys that don't pan out. You're also going to catch, you know, the Will Zalatoris, those type of players that make a quick jump up the board. And you say, wow, I had this guy. Can you believe it? Bhatia, Eckroat, mid 7s. Mm-hmm. Some of them don't belong there because they should be 9K and others should probably be 4K. That's a bet worth taking. Noren is not that. He's a different type of player because we've seen him for quite a while. Short game, short game, short game. Gained 5.5 with the short game last week. Made that cut. Just got to flip these irons. He's lost 3 straight with the irons. Again, I'm really banking that an easy birdie fest with bent grass type greens, something like that, is the formula. And we get most of that right here. This is a easy course. The splits support this with Noren. He got 4 reps in, improved off the Fortinet. Price is right. It's nothing crazy. I'm not running to the window. I think Noren's just a solid play. If I land there, and I like doubling up. Tokyo Swan, one of the sharpest members in our chat, was saying he really likes the 7K range.
Same.
I think you could have 3 or 4 7K guys in lineups. So I'll make room for Alex Noren as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be jamming Ludwig. I'm going to be jamming the 7K range. I love Neesmith. I love Hardy. I love Wallace. What you talking about, Wallace? I like a lot of these guys. Joseph Bramlett even. Don't know about Taylor Montgomery. Don't think I can click on that one. It hurts to even like see his name, thinking about how badly he burned me at the beginning of last season. Because he played phenomenal for like 3 weeks when I needed him to suck at Mega Chalk, and then he continued to be terrible at low ownership, which doesn't do you any good. But this does me good. Buy low as possible. This is the lowest he'll ever be. Austin Eckroat in this field, sitting there at 7,300. The talent alone, you saw it over the summer. It's been bad. There is no sugarcoating how horrible he has been in the last however many. Miscut at the 3M, miscut at the Wyndham, miscut at the Fortinet, but I still think you look back at Dallas, like Dallas specifically, looking at the Charles Schwab, he put himself in 69-66, then played terrible over the weekend, 72-71. Goes to the Memorial, plays really well, 69-72, plays terrible on the weekend, 72-77. I think you get to an easier golf course in a weaker field, and this is like, for me, the buy low on talent, him and Bhatia, just sitting at like 5-6%. I mean, I'm peppering this range, but both of them, I'm going to be 2-3x in 20 max in, however many lineups I decide to build in the $5. I'm pretty positive that those two guys are going to be the ones I'm the most overweight to relative to the range.
My last guy in this range, it's not to the same level as the guys that you're talking about in terms of like upside, but I think that Nick Hardy has shown that he's also a player that is starting to get it together, and he can compete on tour. This is a guy that's made 5 of 6 cuts stretching back to July. He was 35th at Sanderson Farms. He gained with the putter, just barely, but he was just fine. And it really seems like when he's healthy and good to go, this is a player that can get it done. He was 44th at Shriners last year, gained 5 strokes tee to green. He just lost 3 strokes putting. I think he builds on that. So low 7K range, give me Nick Hardy.
My gosh, I do like Nick Hardy. I had cool kind of like overlooked him. So
it's a crowded range, man. That's what I love about it. Any other thoughts for the 7K range?
Yeah, there's just so much to like down here, but I played him last week. He got off to a really good start as well. I once again just think you go back to the well. Davis Thompson. I think there are some other places where he is pulling 17-18% ownership. I'm going to be very, very careful here because you've got Higo and Thompson coming off of last week. They didn't do anything to deter people from clicking on them. Davis Thompson ended up a little bit more popular than I anticipated, but I just like the player. I think he is going to really stand out in some of these birdie fests. We saw that in Palm Springs last year at the American Express, put himself into contention there, and I think we just run it back 7,800 for him there. It's the upper part of this range, and I do like the Noren shout out considering he's pulling 4.8% ownership. But I do think Davis Thompson, if you're going to be avoiding Aberg, Kim, Davis, Poston, well, I guess Poston's not pulling any ownership, and of course I'm going to click him at 10K. But I like the combination of him with some of the lower owned build guys in the 9s.
Get to the salary savers. It's going to get a little dangerous when we got down here, but I do want to say very quickly, if you are 2 things, if you're not in one of these 6 states, honestly, you can kind of fast forward, take a little break, but our friends in New Jersey and Colorado and Virginia and Ohio, Iowa and Kentucky, if I just mentioned your state, got some money for you. $150 in bonus bets coming your way, courtesy of Bet365. The links are below in the description. If you're in one of those states, all you have to do is sign up. Jordan just threw the link in chat. You click that. You deposit $10 or more, and you bet $5. Win, lose, draw. I don't even know how you could draw. Void. You're in there. You got it. It's coming your way. $150 in bonus bets. It is that simple. Bet365 is one of the best books to bet golf specifically, but they are just a very solid book. Obviously, they've been around forever. Just really, really good stuff. And now they're starting to make serious inroads in the U.S. You're in one of those 6 states. Take advantage of this offer. You got to be 21 plus. Only 18 in Kentucky. Please play responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Good stuff from Bet365. Don't be silly. Get that $150 in bonus bets while you can. Now, this shouldn't take too long because these are straight flyers from me. I'm going to start it off. I'm actually going to list all 3 if I can. Is that cool with you? I'm just going to rattle my 3 off.
I think that's a better way to do it because, like, okay. I had to really
gross.
stretch to get to a third person.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of just stick with some of my guys from last week. We're going to get it started with Eric Van Rooyen, EVR himself, 16th last week. One of my better calls of the week. He gained 6 strokes tee to green. Couldn't find it with the putter. If he continues to gain 6 strokes tee to green and he's in the 6K range, I'll play him literally every week until something changes. My other secret guy, Marty Dew. How about Marty Dew hanging in there, coming in 12th last week? Just what a just solid performance. He gained across the board, all 4 metrics, 12th at Sanderson Farms. I am just going to continue to play him until he adjusts as well. I think this is the kind of guy, when he's in form, you want to play him, and when he's not, you don't. Then my last one is straight banana land. It's going to be hard to defend this. He will be 1% owned, and that is Matthias Schwab, who is always a passion project of mine. He missed the cut at Sanderson Farms. The irons did not look good, but before that, he was 11th at Fortinet. He has not gained strokes putting since July on the tour. That's a slight issue. He hasn't played that many events, though. I like calm, easy conditions for him. I think this is a good course setup. If you're looking for a 1%er, Schwab is not the craziest in the depths.
Not the craziest because, well, the craziest was mine last week with Kelly Craft, and that looks pretty good in hindsight. 6,600, ends up going 16th there. Your guy, Marty Dew. I had a lineup with the 2 of them together with Ludwig and somebody else, and I needed the playoff to drop a certain way to really pay off, but did not get that run out. And then also had, I can't remember who missed the cut in that lineup because it kind of really sunk it, but I'm going back to Kelly Craft. I don't know how I don't. 16th at the Sanderson there, 25th at the Fortinet, 34th at the Wyndham, 3 consecutive made cuts, just playing solid golf all around. I think that this is the bargain barrel guy for me. I really don't need to add anything else to it because I'm in love with the price tag makes everything work for me again this week. And so I'm just going to ride the form. I'm going to ride the form. Do you have any interest in Kelly Craft now that you've seen the light?
I really am, again, a believer in these macro concepts. If a guy in the 6K range got it going, I'm much more likely to say, you know what, I'm going to stick with it than if it was someone up top who can flip the switch easier. Like Kelly Craft, Marty Dew, EVR, if they're in form, I think they're more likely to stay in form than Grillo misses a cut. I don't care. He can be fine immediately.
All right. Well, let's have some cigarettes. Yeah. I'll thank you. Thank you. Grayson Sig. That's going to be my number 2 here in this range. Miscut at the Sanderson, but I don't know. He's played well in some of these weaker field events. 13th at the John Deere. He's had some glimpses. RSM last season, 15th. Played in the Shriners, finished 44th last year, 9th at the Sanderson Farms. Seems like the putter has woken up at times. 5 strokes a game putting in this event last season, had nothing else in the ball striking department to go with it. And that's generally where he's going to be better. He's been good tee to green, 3.8, 1.1, and 8 in 3 of his last 5 events. So I'm going to just blindly back him there, considering we have seen the putter flip at this exact event and didn't have the ball striking, which again, 31st amongst this field in strokes gained approach over his last 50 rounds, 18th tee to green. If you tell me that he has good juju there, 101st in putting, I'm going to back that and hope that we can kind of get the entire ensemble. So for me, that's kind of the number 2 piece. And I had to really dig and find something. So this is your Bet MGM narrative straight? How about some Joel Dahman in your life? Joel Damon, if you will. I think Netflix maybe got to his head or something. Everybody's offering him up White Claws, and it's been brutal until Sanderson Farms there. We got a 13th out of him, and I saw some things there around the green with the putter, and I mean, it was an awful year for him. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. If he didn't have that great fall swing last season, where, again, 13th Sanderson, 16th Zozo, 3rd at the WWT, Houston Open, 9th, RSM 5th, you would probably be looking at a guy that was just not even here, perhaps. I know that he's got some really good finishes at majors. Again, that US Open in 2022 that was covered on the Netflix doc. Nice of him to get a top 10 there, put himself into that final grouping or like last two groups there. But I'm looking at 13th at the Sanderson Farms. We saw a glimpse of it. Now you're running it into a spot he's more familiar with in Vegas. And yeah, I'll blindly back it.
Bucket hat. I love it. He's shown he can do it. He just got to get back in form. So, all right. There we have it. We're not leaving just yet. We gotta build a lineup on the way out before we get out of here, and we'll give our hot takes as well. If we didn't get to anyone, at Eric Lindquist, at JazzRazDFS, you want to follow us on Twitter. We're doing a ton of content there. Odd Shopper Golf, if you want even more golf takes, just find it on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We appreciate you building it up. But let's do this. Let's build this lineup. Who are we putting in to start? Are we going with Aberg?
Yeah, I want to just play him a lot. I think that he is good chalk this week. It's one of those things where, yeah, if Cam Davis ends up being the guy, it's going to be difficult. And whenever you're 11K, you basically have to beat everybody in the field to some extent to kind of make the paces fit. If somebody else in that upper range, Cam Davis, Tom Kim, defending champ or whatever, he's played well here in the past. I think you're running into issues, but he's just so damn good. I think at this point, we just kind of give him the benefit of the doubt and we just kind of click and move on.
Well, guess what? We're going to get real dangerous with this lineup because we're putting Aberg in to start the lineup. I'm putting Cam Davis right next to him.
Lord, here
we're going double north of 10. That's going to be a very different build. When you put Aberg and Cam Davis together, really interesting. And you know what? We found guys in the salary savers to do this. So where do we want to go with our third pick?
I have to go Kelly Craft, 6'4". Yes, it's the only way to make it work. I'm telling you, he's a lot better than people give him credit for. And again, no respect, getting absolutely no ownership. Yeah, 0.1%. He won't be 0.1%. People will box score watch and see 3 in a row or watch this show and maybe we'll get 0.3% of Mr. Kelly Craft. But like legitimately, he makes it work. He makes a lot of builds work. If he can just do what he did last week, be solid around the green, be solid in every single facet of his game, except for, there's going to be leaks as far as like the irons aren't going to be super hot all the time here relative to everybody else in this golf tournament. He had a pretty abysmal season up until now, but again, 6.3 with the irons was just nuclear and it covered and around the green off the tee performance issue. And the putter was flat and that still found his way to 16, 3 straight gaining with the irons. I don't know how many ways to tell you. Again, I'm pretty convinced Kelly Craft's an awesome play again.
I'm going to follow you up with Eric Van Rooyen. I'm going to stick with him. Yep. I love the way this lineup is formulating. We've got two spend up, 2 pay down, and now we have plenty of room. So I'm going to put EVR right into this lineup, and now we got a 2v2 to round us out here.
Yeah, we love the 7K range. I think that there's a lot of different pieces, but I'm going to take the low-owned one that you like and let you round it out with whomever you want. Alex Noren, 7,700, putter extraordinaire. Yeah, short game. Exactly the way that you laid out. I think that there's an opportunity for anybody like Noren where you don't have trouble lurking off the tee to just kind of put himself into play and wedge it and putt it and beat people that way, the old-fashioned way. So a lot of birdies to be had. Why not get the best putter or one of the best putters in this field?
And again, I want to stress this is a large field tournament lineup. I'm going to pay it forward. An homage to you, of course. Doug Gim is right there, and I think that's fine. For this, we're going at Akshke. We'll put Batia in there. We'll save some money. What a cool-looking lineup. Again, highly volatile, but you look at Batia at 7,400, and he is just – we know the talent is there. You are not going to have to worry about being duped or anything like that. 2 north of 10K, 2 in the 6K, 2 in the 7K. What a cool lineup. No 8 or 9K players. at all. Final things before we bounce on out of here. Let's get a little caliente, as they say. Hot takes. I've been so close, yet so far with mine. Do you have a hot
cashed
take?
mine last week. Top 20, Kelly Craft.
Are you running it back?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Okay. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Because it wasn't my hot take, but if you're gonna go top 20 for Kelly Craft, I'm gonna go top 20 for Marty Dew. I'm gonna run that back. He did it last week. Why not? Let's put our guys on the board and say, you know what? Just keep it going for my man Marty. Shout out to Benny On. Benny On suspended on the tour. That's a heartbreaker. I'm gonna have to find another player to play without Benny On in our lives. But
I didn't think he was like jacked or anything. What was he doing?
I don't know. He got suspended for doping. I didn't read the
thing.
Dope. Not good, but you know what? You know what is good? Stokastic PGA shows. I have a blast doing these. I hope you guys do as well. Again, Owner's Box. I expect to see a lot of you guys in that lobby this Sunday. We're going to be talking about it during the NFL streams all week long with me and Eric and the entire team. Can't wait to do that. And on the betting side, Bet365. Take advantage of that. Get your money and spend it on golf. I love betting golf, and I have a feeling a lot of you do too. So if you're in those states, take advantage of it. But for me, for Eric, for Jordan Klein behind the glass, making this show go. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy all the games tonight. Enjoy the golf tomorrow. Come back next week for a little more PGA here at Stokastic.